Over the last 10 years, India has pulled off a digital transformation that is so massive, it's honestly hard to wrap your head around. We're talking about connecting a billion people, creating an entirely new digital economy, and completely reshaping how people interact with their government. It's a pretty wild story, so let's dive in. Okay, if you want a sense of just how big this change was, get this. In 2023, almost half of all the real-time digital payments in the entire world happened in India. Yeah, 49%. Just let that sink in for a second. That's not just a cool stat, it's a sign of a massive fundamental shift, and it points to a much, much bigger story. So that begs the question, right? How on earth did this happen? How does a country with 1.4 billion people build a digital ecosystem that's the envy of the world in just 10 years? Well, to figure that out, we've got to look at how it all got started. Look, this was no accident. It was a series of really deliberate strategic moves. It all kicked off in 2015 with the Digital India program. Just a year later, boom, they launched UPI, the payment system that honestly changed everything. You fast forward through other big moments like the 5G rollout, and here we are in 2024, and they're launching a national AI mission. It has been a decade of just non-stop building. But none of that other stuff would have even been possible without the very first and most important pillar, connectivity. Before you can dream of a digital economy, you've got to get people online. And the growth here was, well, it was explosive. Back in 2014, India had about 250 million internet connections. By 2024, that number had just skyrocketed to nearly 970 million. That's a 285% jump. I mean, just think about that. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of people coming online for the very first time. So what was the secret sauce? How did they do it? It really came down to one thing: making it incredibly cheap. The biggest reason for this internet revolution was the price of data just collapsing. In 2014, 1 gigabyte of data cost over 300 rupees. By 2022, it was less than 10. All of a sudden, the internet wasn't some luxury. It was a basic utility for pretty much everyone. And this new affordability was backed by a massive push in actual infrastructure. You had huge projects like BharatNet laying down fiber to connect over 200,000 villages. The 5G rollout was one of the fastest in the world. They put up almost 500,000 towers in under 2 years. These weren't just construction projects. These were the digital highways that everything else was going to be built on. So, what happens when you suddenly get hundreds of millions of people online with affordable data? Well, you've just set the stage for a complete reinvention of the economy itself. And the absolute centerpiece of that new economy is the Unified Payments Interface, or UPI. The numbers here are just mind-boggling. We're talking about more than 18 billion transactions in a single month. This system has totally changed how money moves, for everyone from a street vendor selling tea to the biggest corporations. This new digital plumbing also led to some amazing efficiencies. By linking people's digital identity to their bank accounts, the government could send welfare payments directly to them. This system, called Direct Benefit Transfer, cut out so much fraud and waste, saving the government an incredible 3.48 lakh crore rupees. That's a staggering amount of money that actually got to the people it was meant for. And it went way beyond just payments. New digital marketplaces started popping up. You have the Open Network for Digital Commerce, or ONDC, which was designed to help small local shops compete online. It's brought over 750,000 of them into the digital age. And on the other side, you have the government e-marketplace, which digitized all the government's purchasing, making it way more transparent and efficient. But this whole transformation wasn't just about business and the economy. It was also about completely changing the relationship between people and the government, making public services something you could access from anywhere at any time. A perfect example is something called DigiLocker. Just think of it like a super secure digital wallet, but for all your official papers, your driver's license, car registration, school diplomas, all verified and available right on your phone. With over 500 million users, it has basically eliminated mountains of paperwork and hassle. And DigiLocker is really just one piece of this huge e-government's puzzle. You've got the Umang app, which pulls together over 2,000 government services into one spot. And then you have something really cool called Bashini, which is an AI translation platform. When you look at all this together, you see a clear focus on two things: incredible scale and making everything accessible to everyone.
Bashini is actually super important. In a country with 22 official languages and hundreds of dialects, technology can easily become just another wall. But by using AI to translate voice and text in real time, Bashini turns technology into a bridge, making sure that language doesn't stop anyone from being part of this digital revolution.
All right, so with these foundations, connectivity, a digital economy, and e-governance, all firmly in place, India is now looking ahead. It's focusing on the big, strategic technologies that are going to define the next decade. And at the top of that list is the National India AI Mission. It lays out this clear 5-step game plan. Step 1, build massive computing power. Then use that to fund innovative startups and develop homegrown AI models that can understand text, images, and speech. From there, it's all about training the workforce and, maybe most importantly, creating rules to make sure AI is used safely and ethically. It's a real all-in strategy to become a global AI powerhouse. And right alongside AI, there's a huge push in another absolutely critical area, semiconductors. With a massive investment of 76,000 crore rupees, the India Semiconductor Mission is all about building a local chip industry from the ground up. The goal is to reduce reliance on imports and make India a key player in the global electronic supply chain. So when you step back and look at the last 10 years, this whole transformation really stands on 4 key pillars. First, they built the foundation, cheap, accessible internet for everyone. That made it possible to create a world-class digital payments and commerce system. Then, they used that same technology to make government services open and accessible to millions. And now, they're using that strong base to invest heavily in the future with things like AI and semiconductors. You know, there's a quote that I think really gets to the heart of this entire thing. It reminds us that the goal was never really just about the tech itself. It was always about using that technology as a tool to create and spread opportunity on a scale that was never possible before. And that leaves us with one last big question. India's model for building this digital public infrastructure is now being looked at and copied all over the world. So, with this incredibly powerful foundation now in place, what comes next? What's the future for a digitally empowered nation of 1.4 billion people?